Hello everyone, and welcome to Shell Point Today for Wednesday, July 13th. I'm Dan Filgreen. On today's show, we'll hear about the assisted living's tea and tours that are coming this month. Ruth Deuber will cook up some delicious chicken wings in our What's Cooking segment, and Bev Chandley will speak about an exciting trip of Southern history and culture that's available for residents to take this fall. But first, don't forget about the celebration of the 5-year anniversary of the Community Thrift Store. It's underway this week. You can save 50% off everything store-wide through this Saturday. Come and enjoy daily drawings for prizes and pick up some great items at a super savings of 50%. The thrift store will be open from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. through Saturday. The Shell Point Summer Concert Series is in full swing, and so is the summer with its very warm weather. Luckily for you, there's a concert tomorrow that you can enjoy in the coolness and comfort of the Village Church Auditorium. Ragtime, jazz, and silent film pianist Ethan Uslan will take the stage at 7:30. He's a 3-time winner of the World Championship Old Time Piano Playing Contest and has performed all across the U.S., the UK, France, Switzerland, Italy, and Belgium. Famed radio personality Garrison Keillor says Uslan's music has a snap to it, played the way they ought to. Come enjoy Ethan's performance tomorrow night at the Village Church. Tickets are available online or at either service desk. It's time once again for the Assisted Living's Tea and Tour events. This is the opportunity for you to learn about the continuum of care here at Shell Point. Tour the assisted living facilities and you can meet your case manager. With all the information, here's Assisted Living's Director, Rita Southern.
Hi, I'm Rita Southern. I'm the Director of Assisted Living here at Shell Point. I'd like to offer you an opportunity this summer to attend a tea and tour of one of our assisted living facilities here at Shell Point. It's an opportunity to come and tour an assisted living facility of your choice and listen to a presentation about the services and amenities that you have available to you as a Shell Point resident. This is an opportunity for you as a Shell Point resident to gather information as you plan for the future of when you would like to go to assisted living, what you can expect in the way of services, what pathway to follow as you make that decision, which assisted living facility would I like to move to. We look at making resident apartments available to you to tour. It's always interesting as you make your way through one or the other of the buildings to find a neighbor that you know and get acquainted with their apartment. Our residents really enjoy opening their apartments and greeting residents as they tour and enjoy the pride that they have at offering their homes for their fellow neighbors to come and look at. One of the benefits of enjoying these tea and tours is, as our Shell Point residents are planners, it's critical to ask questions and get the information that you as a resident will need to understand, when do I really need to start thinking about assisted living? What are the key signs that I'm going to be looking for? What are the questions I should be asking? Maybe my family might like the opportunity to look at assisted living. If you do have family visiting or friends visiting over the summer months, this is a great opportunity to invite them to attend the tea and tours with you. They're welcome to come. We've got plenty of space. It is important as you look at the dates for our teas that you make that reservation call. Let me go over those dates with you. We have the July 19th date on Tuesday, July 19th at the Arbor. That'll be at 9 a.m. We're offering the tea at the Springs on July 21st at 2:30. And then we'll be offering again at the King's Crown on July 28th at 9:30. I would ask that as you think about making that reservation, that you call 454-2077 and just let the staff know that you'll be attending. The thing that you also would want to keep in mind, if you attend one of those presentations, then you're welcome to just simply come for the tour only of the other two presentations. That way you don't have to stay for the full presentation, you can just enjoy the tour. But this is really a great opportunity to put that time and effort into gathering information, perhaps not now, perhaps not for the immediate future, but for the coming future, for a time down the road when you don't know what might be coming. You just want to have the information and be ready and prepared, as all Shell Point residents do. We're looking forward to seeing you at the coming Tea-In Tour. Have a great summer, and we'll see you then.
Ruth Deuber is back in the kitchen today with a mouth-watering recipe for chicken wings. Here's Ruth with this week's What's Cooking.
Hello, I'm Ruth Deuber with What's Cooking at Shell Point. I'm going to fix some chicken wings today. I've had people ask me, if I have good recipes for it and how to do it. And I have several, but I'm going to share two with you today. I'll demonstrate one and then tell you about the other, and then I'll put both recipes up on the website. I buy the Publix frozen chicken wings, and it's just the two sections. There's no tip on it, so you don't have to do any cutting up. And you thaw them out, and the Publix wings are very meaty, as you can see. They're nice. So I'm going to prepare something. I like to marinate them for about 2 hours in this plastic bag that will have some of the seasonings in it. And the first thing that I'm going to put into it is a half a tablespoon of lemon juice. Now, I think everybody knows that lemon juice will tend to tenderize the chicken, and so we like that. And it calls for a quarter of a teaspoon of dried thyme. And I try to kind of mix it up a little bit. And a half a teaspoon of the onion powder, which is that. Well, it doesn't want to come out. Okay, there it goes. And I'm kind of swishing it around as I put these things in. And this is garlic powder, a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Yeah, stir it up a little bit there. And a half a teaspoon of salt. So those are all pretty common ingredients. I'm going to mix that up a little bit. And then in this recipe, I use a wing sauce. Now there are several different wing sauces that they have at Publix. I have used this one before, and I like this one. It doesn't have too much heat to it, and so that sort of appeals to me. And you can sort of do this as much as you want. The original recipe called for 1.5 teaspoons, but I don't think that's quite enough. I'm going to put just about a tablespoon in. There we go. And so that's in there. So I'm going to mix this up a little bit. And then I'm going to put my chicken wings in. And you'll notice that I don't handle it with my hands, so then I don't have to keep washing my hands while I'm getting this ready. Tongs work beautifully. And I have read that when you take your chicken, even out of a package from the grocery, they tell you not to rinse it. And of course, when it's frozen, we don't have that problem. Okay, so this will marinate in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. And when they're through marinating, I put them in an aluminum pan with aluminum foil, and I use the rapid release. I think it's wonderful. I don't like to scrub pans, so that works out well. So after they've marinated, you put these in the pan, and I sprinkle some of this on the top. That's the ranch dressing, the dry mix. I just sprinkle a little bit across the top. And you bake it at 400 degrees for about 40 minutes or 35 minutes. You want to keep an eye on it to make sure that they're not burning. And I have some that I just took out of the oven. And there they are. And I will drain them a little bit. This is some of the juice. I think the frozen chicken wings have a solution in them, and so there is some of that does cook out. But there's your wings, and they're mighty good. And I'll tell you about the other wing recipe that I have. I'll move these out of the way. And they are made with breadcrumbs, and I use the Italian breadcrumbs. You melt 2 tablespoons of butter, and you put in a bowl a quarter cup of breadcrumbs, and a half a teaspoon of brown sugar, and a half a teaspoon of chili powder, an eighth of a teaspoon of some dry mustard, and an eighth of a teaspoon of celery seed. This is the seed, not the salt. And it calls for cayenne pepper, 1/16 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. You dip the chicken in the melted butter, and then you roll it into the breadcrumb mixture, and you bake that at 375 for about the same amount of time, about 40 minutes. So I'll put this recipe up on the website along with the other chicken wings, and I hope you'll try them, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
There's a fantastic opportunity available this fall for you to discover some beautiful Southern charm. Bev Chandley, our off-site programs coordinator, is standing by to give you all the details about a week-long historic excursion to the Old South. The cities of Savannah, Charleston, and Jekyll Island are all on the menu, and there's still time to pack your bags. Here's Bev with more details.
Hi, I'm Bev Chandley, and I work at Resort Services here at Shell Point. And one of my favorite parts of my job here as the off-site program coordinator is putting together travel programs and interesting travel trips through Ising's Travel for our residents. And I'm here today to talk about one of the trips we have coming up here in October. We have this wonderful trip lined up to go to Savannah. Actually, it's Jekyll Island, Savannah, Charleston, and St. Augustine. So I'd like to tell you a little bit more about that trip as we show you some nice pictures of those places that we're going to be going. We're going to start out on our motor coach trip up to Jekyll Island. Our first night is going to be stayed at the Hampton Inn in Jekyll Island. And I've learned a little bit about Jekyll Island, and it was considered the world's richest club or resort back in its day. And it had members such as J.P. Morgan, Joseph Pulitzer, Marshall Fields, and of course the Vanderbilt family. So it has a lot of rich history, but now it's a historic landmark. So we'll be going out to Jekyll Island, and we'll have tram tours. We'll have all kinds of historic information about that area presented by our tour guides. From Jekyll Island, we're going to move on to Savannah, where we'll stay for a couple of days at the Hilton DeSoto Hotel. We have all kinds of neat things to do in Savannah, and we'll be staying right downtown. So even in your free time, residents will be able to tour some of the close by historic areas. In Savannah, we'll have a historic gardens and homes tour. We'll see the historic downtown area, and we will also be having our visit to the Owen Thomas House. It's considered one of the finest examples of English Regency architecture in the United States. From Savannah, we're moving on to Charleston, where we have a couple of days. We'll be staying at the historic Mills House Hotel. It's now called the Wyndham Grand Hotel, the Mills House Wyndham Grand Hotel. And it's a unique hotel. It's close to the Museum Mile and many historic downtown sites. As part of our Charleston experience, we're going to have a cruise of the harbor and we'll explore Fort Sumter, National Historic Site. Now from Charleston, we're going to go to also the Magnolia Plantation, and we'll have a plantation tour and learn all about that era of the South and what was going on there, and enjoy some of the beautiful gardens and historic buildings in that area as well. And from Charleston, we head down to St. Augustine. I just couldn't see going right past St. Augustine on our way home without stopping, so I convinced Icings Travel we needed to include St. Augustine on this trip. And we'll be staying at the St. Augustine Bayfront Hilton, and we'll have a trolley tour, a tour of Flagler College, and then we'll just have a great time there in St. Augustine. Well, I hope you'll take a few minutes to either get one of these flyers at the Resident Activity Center or at the Woodlands Service Desk, and maybe consider joining us on this wonderful, wonderful, historically rich trip to Savannah, Jekyll Island, Charleston, and St. Augustine.
And now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Welcome to the Happenings segment of Shell Point TV. This is where we'll tell you the activities that we have going on here today at Shell Point. I'm Bev Chandley.
And I'm Caitlin Vanscoy.
And here we go. We're going to start at 8 o'clock with pickleball down at the game courts behind the Resident Activity Center. Also at 8 o'clock, we have the men's round robin tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. Lilly and Company Jewelers will be at the Resident Activity Center at 8:45. And at 9 o'clock, we have the watercolor group with Phil Hilton. That'll be down in the art studio on the island. The card making and scrapbooking group will be in the Tarpon Room at 9:15. And at 10 o'clock, the ladies' Bible study will be in the Osprey Room. 10 o'clock's the time men's match play tennis will be going on down at our tennis courts. And the Model Yacht Sailing Club will be down at the Woodlands Commons Lake at 10:15. Our last activity of the morning is at 11:30, and it's a Health Connections class, Agility, Balance, and Flexibility, and that's in the Tarpon Room on the island. Caitlin, what's going on this afternoon?
Well, thanks, Bev. We start at 12:45 with a Health Connections class, Advanced Strength and Conditioning in the Tarpon Room. And chess is available at 1 o'clock at the Library Lounge. We move to 1:45 for Balance and Mobility, Advanced in the Tarpon Room. And at 2:30, you can go listen to Nostalgia. That's a jazz group. They'll be in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. At 3 o'clock, Pilates stretch will be going on in the Tarpon Room. And singles table is available at the Crystal Dining Room at 5 o'clock. We round out our day, our Wednesday, at 7:15 with prayer and praise at the Village Church. Well, Bev and I are both happy to see you here today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Colas with your Academy information for Wednesday. At 9 o'clock, smartphone videography continues in the Sabre Room of the Woodlands. At 10 o'clock, the Transatlantic Alliance, the Aftermath of War, will take place in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands, and you can sign up right at the door. At 12:30, you can get crafty in the Shell Point Wood Shop if you are already enrolled in the class. And at 1 o'clock, Intermediate Bridge continues in the Game Room of the Woodlands.
Menus for Wednesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is a broccoli and ham quiche with fried green beans and a cucumber salad. For dinner, they are featuring their a la carte menu. The soup of the day is pasta fagioli. In the Island Cafe, the sandwich special is a turkey burger with sweet potato fries for $7.75. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are fried shrimp for $15.95 or marinated hanger steak for $17.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm Andy Hawkins, the senior pastor of the Village Church, and I'm here with my friend Darryl Larson. And Darryl, we're here to talk about one of our movie nights that the Village Church has been sponsoring recently, that are generally have been held in the social center on Monday evenings every now and then. Right. Not every week, but every quarter or something like that. And we have an opportunity coming up this coming Monday evening at 6:45 in the social center for people to gather and watch Woodlawn, which is an interesting movie, I understand. And tell us a little bit about the background of this movie.
Well, it's a movie that hits some key themes and passions like race, faith, and football.
How about that?
You know, that covers a lot of
Sounds
territory.
like all-American stuff right there. Yeah, all right.
And it takes place in Birmingham, Alabama, in the early 70s. People can remember that far back, I think.
I trust.
And in those days, Birmingham was almost called by some people Bombingham.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was a lot of racial tension going on. The governor of Alabama at that time was George Wallace, who was known for his frankness and other things.
Yes, yeah.
And then, but they also had a very famous coach at the University of Alabama, who everyone remembers as Coach Bryant. And so actually both of these characters show up in the movie. So it has a very broad interest. You don't have to like football to like this movie, although there's plenty of football in it. The name Woodlawn comes from the name of a high school. There's a high school, I suppose it's still there, in Birmingham that during the early 70s began to be integrated. And with all the tension that caused, but the high school coach did his best to bring the white players and the colored players together. But he did so with the help of a man he didn't know, who I think represented the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
I see.
And he came and wanted to talk to the team, because he was very much aware of the tension that was going on in the city, in the country, and even between the players. So he began to talk about Jesus. And then he'd come to the games and got to know the players well. It's a role that's played by Sean Astin, who some people may remember from Lord of the Rings. He was Samwise. And anyway, so he engages the players and the coach, and he is able to be a voice for Jesus. And in the whole city. And there is a black running back, Tony Nathan, who's a great running back, but he wasn't first string, and then when they got him to play, he just tore up the field and led the Woodlawn team into a championship. So there's a lot of interesting things that go on in the movie. I'm sure a lot of people will find it very interesting.
Now, the main issue here, obviously, is how the Lord Jesus was able to affect some significant degree of racial reconciliation, not only within the players, but also in this particular community. And, of course, the other part of it is, this is actually a true story, isn't it?
Yeah, it really happened. As a matter of fact, on the movie, there are scenes that you would have seen on the news broadcasts. Birmingham was a very tense city at that time, and all the pressure that was coming about with the integration of blacks and whites in the city, in the school, on the team. But the key to it was how faith really began to draw these players together, not only were they good football players, but they meshed as a team. And the coach was very much influenced by this happening.
Good movies are always about somebody being transformed, aren't they? And so if I understand that this coach, skeptical at first about this kind of thing, actually was deeply changed.
He was, yeah. So people will enjoy it, I'm sure, and see the relevance of it to today's culture as well. And to see a player who, as a high school player, ultimately went on to play for the University of Alabama, for Coach Bryant, for Bear Bryant, and then had an NFL career. So
Yeah.
It's very historical.
Yes.
And people will enjoy it, I'm sure.
Well, I think it's the kind of thing that all of us in this community remember those times.
Yes.
And depending on where we lived, more or less remembered very significant dimensions of it. Obviously, various parts of the country were deeply involved in the tensions, the racial tensions at that time. But we still find ourselves in a world, in a nation that has these kinds of racial tensions, maybe not in the same way or to the same degree, but they're very significantly still there. So the message, I think, is not only historically relevant, but relevant even today, don't you think?
Very much so. I mean, when I saw it, I thought, my goodness, I didn't remember all of this was going on. I was living in Massachusetts at that time, and I was engaged with my responsibilities and family life there. I was always interested in football, but I wasn't quite up to speed on what was going on in Birmingham.
Right.
But the Southerners, people who lived there, would remember this very well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so it deals with topics, the reality of faith and the transforming power of Jesus in dealing with these key issues which are still very much with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to it. I think that this will be very well received by our community, and people will look forward to seeing Woodlawn. It's going to be presented on Monday, this coming Monday, the 18th at 6:45 in the Social Center. We hope that you'll join us.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. Tomorrow we'll find out about art therapy, memories in the making for those with dementia and Alzheimer's, and we'll get an in-depth tour of the chiller plant here at Shell Point that is responsible for keeping us all cool during these hot summer days. Until then, this has been Shell Point Today for Wednesday, July 13th. I'm Dan Philgreen, and from all of us here at SBTV, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow.